tie-ups with companies like Fevicryl Hobby Idea, so that's where we got started getting into tie-ups. We realized that there was no point being an exclusive organization. Extracurricular activities was not just the privilege of a certain few, whether it is the provider or whether it is the one who's enjoying it. So in terms of provision, we made sure that the best talent in the country was being tapped as far as collaborations were concerned. This would only help bloom the extracurricular options, as the topic suggests, for parents to choose from, and there the options multiply. Regular classes like chess, which would usually be conducted at Gold Tree Southern in non-air conditioned atmospheres where, if I may say, dull-looking walls and dull teachers who were not being adequately paid greeted children every Sunday morning, were replaced by Kriya orange walls where the teachers would be trained to be nice to the children for a change and entertain them and bring in the whole creative aspect of chess not as a sport but as a supplementary activity to their studies, where the term extracurricular would acquire a whole new meaning. Moving on, Speak Smart. This was something that we continue to this day with great pride. We got teachers who are Trinity College of Communication specialists, I being one of them today, and it was a huge surprise for us. The biggest factor that we realized the children today are lacking in was with public speaking. I still remember when I used to address public, audience, my legs used to shake, and the podium used to be the sort of hiding ground for my legs. I would be a confident speaker, breast upwards, and breast downwards is a different story altogether. And probably my regular interaction with the audiences at large and faking it till you make it, as art of living propagates, helped me get over that initial phobia. Not every child was blessed with the same experience, and therefore the Speak Smart classes as an option provided excellent learning ground for the child to develop not just on his self-esteem but also on his public speaking skills. Yes, don't move. Travel and unravel. Again, I don't know if you're relating to this. Where is all this coming from? The questions should still remain. What was this young guy thinking? I mean, how was he moving from one project to the other, to the other, to the other, every year? Two things to note. A, I was driven by a passion to not just excel, but innovate every season. The idea was not to capitalize on what you had sort of hit upon as a new idea and milking the cow season after season. But it was almost like an ego challenge to innovate and provide to the audience at large a new option every season and outdo yourself. The genesis for Travel and Unravel lay with my passion for traveling. I, like a lot of children who would never actually tell you this, we are appalled by family trips where our parents drag us, take us to these nice plush hotels, order food, hotel service, wake up late, and we undergo this whole beautiful, rigorous schedule, this whole family burgeoning joint family drive where the Mossis and the Buas and the maid and the Rasoya would tag along. I was part of many such trips when I was young with my maternal grandfather, and you wished that you would get that space to just cut away from the bygone era, as we would think of them when we were 14, and wish you were with your friends doing your own thing. Now, yes, they have a lot of school trips where they let you go to a Swiss Alp a skiing camp, not just expensive but also an impossible thought to conceive of in my times. The relief came in the form of Duke of Edinburgh award schemes, which was a trekking expeditions, inexpensive. You could pay about a couple of thousand rupees, take a backpack and just escape. And that became my first form of learning and discovering the world, as it might seem, apart from books that I used to read every so now and then, even while having dinner. Now, I became a gold medalist for Duke of Edinburgh, having done the Kanchenjunga Base Camp, Annapurna Base Camp, and really made me a student of life, taught me the basic virtues of friendship, of team work, and therein lay the genesis of travel and unravel. You had a concept which is so unique. You would not just get a child to travel with you. So you were not a travel agency, you were not be organizing a school trip where you say, okay, let's go to Goa, and us teachers would party in the night while you children can do your own thing. We said, we'll do a workshop come tour. How do we do that? We undertook one, the first one being Colors of Rajasthan. Have a look at, in fact you can't make out the logo. This was sponsored by Rajasthan Foundation. Mr. Harimohan Bangar, Shree Cements, being the president of Rajasthan Foundation, then a visionary himself, realized that Colors of Rajasthan was something which was a unique endeavor which had never ever been attempted before. Here you had a golden triangle of Jaipur, Jodhpur, Udaipur and Chittorgarh, and what we did was we said, in Jaipur we will not take you to Hawa Mahal, we will not take you to Amir Ka Killa, and we will not take you to what's that place called? That village near Chokidhani. And we said we will not take you to Chokidhani. We said instead we will take you to Sanganair paper mill, which is the first and the only handmade paper mill in the country. We said we'll take you to the Anokhi Museum of Hand Printing, and we'll take t-shirts where you'll actually learn block printing, make your own t-shirts and flaunt them as designer items to your friends back in the city. And that became a huge success. This was new. Parents were jittery. You are an independent organization, not backed up with a school, not having credible affiliations. While we did, we had incredible in the very first venture. The government of India backing us up. We had yes, other sponsors coming in. So it was a very credible trip. In fact, I remember the Maharaja of Udaipur actually coming and greeting us and providing bird's eye view of the Lake Palace and everything else that Udaipur had to offer them. Jodhpur was not about Mehrangarh Fort. Jodhpur was about Bishnoi Village Safari, where the children would be taken on a sun-drenched trip where they would move from small village to village, actually dabbling their hands with pottery or silk stitching, silk weaving and the things alike. It fired the imagination of children, and the way we managed the event by giving constant updates via SMS to the parents, it was a huge success. I remember when we touched down back to Calcutta after a 7-day long trip, we had all the parents waiting to greet primarily the children. The first thing I was told when I met them was, Saurabh, when are you doing this again? And that was a extremely motivational and happy go-lucky thought for us. And so we followed it up 3 months later. These are just a few snippets of the Rajasthan workshop. 40 children participated in that. And we became bolder and followed up with the Colors of Bhutan workshop. We said, let's cross the boundaries. Let's take children to Bhutan and teach them a lot of things, where you would teach them mask making and puppet making and the like. And suddenly extracurricular activities for children acquired a whole new dimension. From children sitting in their households, going in their luxury cars and going to these summer camps, suddenly you would have these rigorous 7-day camps where there would not be a single moment for them to relax. 6 o'clock morning would be yoga sessions, followed by 8 o'clock breakfast, 11 o'clock workshops, 2 o'clock lunch, followed by half an hour break, and just go on and on and on and on. And we had not a single child complaining. We used to make them write travel logbooks, and that became a substitute for creative writing. So all those children would shy away from activities which would be considered not to their liking. Suddenly became much more liking. Moving on. We have a few pictures. Yes, and then in 2008, we launched a new concept. We realized that we had done enough for children. And the biggest, not just audience, but the biggest problem area lay not with children, but lay with an age group just slightly older than that. The teenage part of our growing up was where I started realizing the biggest problem areas were, whether it was self-esteem, which was not attended to when they were young, to a plethora of issues, peer pressure, not binding with your fellow colleagues, broken families,